History. When, where and how?
History is the study of the past. It is broadly divided into two periods, history and prehistory. The birth of Christ is used as a reference point to measure time in years. History is reconstructed with the help of two main sources, archaeological sources and literary sources. History helps us understand change and how it came about and how the society we live in came to be. The geographical location of a place greatly influences its history.
The lives of the hunter-gatherers.
Humans evolved from apes millions of years ago. The Stone Age spanned roughly across a couple of million years, starting from about 2 million BCE to 12,000 BCE. The Stone Age is so called because the dominant human species which lived during this time used tools mainly made from stone. It is also called the Paleolithic Age. It is divided into Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic and Upper Paleolithic. These early humans hunted animals and gathered wild plants for food and are called hunter-gatherers. They were nomads. Evidence for controlled use of fire has been found during the time of Homo erectus, that is, between 18 lakh to 13 lakh years ago. Some of the stone tools used by the Stone Age men include hand axe, cleaver, scraper, and chopper. The Neolithic Revolution. The period when man started practicing agriculture from being a hunter-gatherer is known as the Neolithic Revolution. Besides stone tools, the development of wooden tools is an important aspect of the Neolithic Age. Cells are polished stone tools which have been sharpened by grinding and not flaking and are characteristic of the Neolithic Age. With the advent of agriculture, man started working together and lived in groups in huts besides rivers and lakes. They also started domestication of animals. The wheel was invented during the Neolithic period. A new era called the Chalcolithic Age began with the discovery of metals.
Early cities in the Indian subcontinent.
A civilization is characterized by developments such as writing, a ruling class, and differentiated people among others. The earliest civilizations of the world flourished in river valleys around 5000 BCE, of which the Indus Valley Civilization is one. The Indus Valley Civilization is believed to have existed between 2500 BCE to about 1700 BCE. Some important sites of the civilization are Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Kalibangan, Balakot, Dholavira, Rupar, and Surkotada. The main crops of the Indus cities were wheat, barley, and rice. The cities exhibit excellent planning with well-planned drainage system. They were fortified and had watchtowers at frequent intervals. There was foreign trade with Afghanistan, Iran, and Mesopotamia. The cause of its decline is not known, but many historians cite natural disasters and climate change as the main reasons. The Vedic Age. The Aryans were nomadic people who came into India through the Khyber Pass. They settled down and gradually took to agriculture. They first settled in 7 places in the Punjab region, which they called Sapta Sindhu, the land of 7 rivers. Our knowledge of the Aryans comes from ancient books called the Vedas. The period when the Aryans first settled in India is known as the Early Vedic Age, 1500 BCE to 1000 BCE. During this period, the kingdom was tribal in character. The tribal chief was called the Rajan. The period between 1000 to 600 BCE is known as the later Vedic Age. At this time, the Aryans moved further into India and occupied the Ganges plains. The king became very powerful and the caste system developed. The position of women declined. Prajapati, Vishnu and Rudra were worshipped. Inamgaon is a Chalcolithic site. It is believed to be occupied from 1600 BCE to 700 BCE. Megalithic graves have been found in many places in India. In a megalithic burial, the bones of a dead person were placed in an urn and buried.
Early kingdoms and republics.
By the end of the Rigvedic period, many territorial states called Janpadas rose as people stopped moving from one place to another. These states became stronger and bigger and were called Mahajanapadas. Buddhist texts tell us that there were 16 Mahajanapadas. These Mahajanapadas were either monarchical or republican. In a republic, Ganasangha, the territory was governed by an assembly and not by a hereditary monarch. Trade was carried on between the states, but the economy was essentially agricultural. Of all the Mahajanpadas, Magadha became the seat of a powerful monarchy. The first important ruler of Magadha was Bimbisara of the Haryanka dynasty. Bimbisara arranged marriages with several royal families to promote goodwill and strengthen his position. His son, Ajat-Shatru, continued a steady expansionist policy. Both Bimbisara and Ajat-Shatru are presented as followers of Mahavira in the Jain religious texts and of Buddha in the Buddhist texts. The Shishunaga dynasty ruled for nearly half a century and was finally taken over by Mahapadmananda. Vajji was a flourishing republican state. It was ruled by a confederacy of which Vrijis were the most powerful. The other ruling clans were Lichavis, Videhas and Natrikas.
New thoughts. Evolution of ideas.
In the later Vedic age, the increasing trend of complex ceremonies and sacrifices alienated the common people from the upper class. People started questioning the supposed superiority of the Brahmins. The Upanishads are strongly opposed to rituals and ceremonies. They are centered around the soul and not sacrifice. Buddhism is largely based on the teachings of Prince Siddhartha Gautama. He achieved enlightenment and came to be known as the Buddha. According to the Buddha's teachings, each person is born and reborn many times. The ultimate freedom from this wheel of life is a state where there is no more suffering and is called nirvana. To attain nirvana, people should follow the eightfold path. The three elements, Buddha, Sangha and Dhamma, are central to Buddhism. Jainism was founded by Vardhamana Mahavira. According to the Jains, Mahavira was the last of the 24 Tirthankaras. Mahavira strictly believed in non-violence. Jainism prescribes a path of non-violence towards all living beings. Even trees and stones have a soul. The Triratna or three jewels are important to live a balanced life. These are right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Both Buddhism and Jainism established communities of monks and nuns called Sangha to spread their respective teachings. Both Buddhism and Jainism became popular because they were against the caste system and did not believe in sacrifices and rituals.
Ashoka the Great.
The foundation of the first empire in India was laid by the Mauryan dynasty in Magadha. Chandragupta Maurya became the first Mauryan ruler after overthrowing Dhanananda. One of the important effects of Alexander's invasion was the destruction of small kingdoms, which helped in the establishment of a new empire. Megasthenes in his book Indica and Chanakya in Arthashastra have given detailed accounts of the administrative, political, economic and military system of the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta ruled for about 24 years, after which he gave up his throne to his son Bindusara. Bindusara was succeeded by Ashoka. Ashoka is regarded as one of the greatest rulers of the world. He waged a war on Kalinga, and this war changed him from a great warrior to a great advocate of peace. Ashoka became an ardent follower of the Buddha's teachings. He built many stupas and viharas. Most of Ashoka's edicts are about Dhamma, which was a code of conduct and a way of life. The Mauryan Empire comprised of 4 provinces. The provincial government was under the control of princes. The main units of the large Mauryan army were infantry, cavalry, elephants, chariots, and navy. The Mauryan kings also had a network of good spies. The Mauryan art and architecture was quite advanced. It is reflected in the Ashokan pillars, stupas, lion thrones, cave residences, etc. The Mauryan Empire started to decline after the death of Ashoka because his successors lacked the ability to efficiently run the large empire. Second Urbanization. The period from the 1st century BCE to about the 4th century CE is known as the Second Urbanization. India underwent profound transformation during this period.
This phase opened up a network of internal and overseas trade routes, saw the introduction of currency, and witnessed flourishing arts and crafts.
The agricultural surplus generated by the combination of iron technology, fertile soil, perennial availability of water from rivers and wells, and human enterprise led to the second urbanization in the country. With the development of trade, many more towns developed as trade centers and administrative centers. Cities had different kinds of functions and identities. Many craftsmen and artisans formed guilds. The enormous manufacturing activity was maintained by guilds. The appearance of northern black polished ware marked the beginning of the second urbanization in India. An important feature of urbanization was the use of coins. Besides coins, other archaeological sources like written texts, pottery, sculptures, etc. helped reconstruct the history of this period. Contacts with distant lands. After the fall of the Mauryan Empire, a number of small kingdoms cropped up in different parts of the country. Sangam literature is a vast collection of ancient Tamil poems that give detailed descriptions about the life and culture of the people of southern India. In the south, the Chola, Pandya and Chera were the 3 main kingdoms. They were constantly at war. The Satavahanas rose to power in 200 BCE and occupied a large part of central India. The most important development in the post-Mauryan period was the arrival of foreign tribal groups into India. Most of these belonged to the category of Indo-Greeks. Kanishka was the greatest Kushana ruler. He expanded his empire and defeated the Chinese and the Sakas. He embraced Buddhism. The Silk Route became the first real link between the East and the West around 100 BCE. Silk, porcelain, spices, gems, handcrafted goods and many other exotic products from Asia were taken to the West along the Silk Route. The period between the 2nd century BCE and 2nd century CE saw flourishing trade between India and the Roman Empire. The Romans brought in gold, which they traded for aromatic spices and black pepper. Black pepper was then called black gold. The Silk Route was the vehicle that spread Buddhism to Central Asia. Buddhism had a deep impact on the lives and culture of those regions.
New empires and kingdoms.
After a gap of many centuries, a large part of India was united under the rule of the Gupta dynasty. Chandragupta I was the first important king. He was succeeded by his son Samudragupta. Allahabad Prashasti is one of the most important sources of information. It was engraved on the Ashokan pillar in Kausambi near Allahabad. The glory of the Gupta Empire reached its peak under Chandragupta II, who took the title of Vikramaditya. The Chinese pilgrim Fa Hien visited India during the reign of Chandragupta II. His book is a valuable source of information of the Gupta reign. Harshavardhana built a strong empire after the downfall of the Guptas. The Chalukyas ruled over an area between the Krishna River and the Vindhyan Mountains between the 6th and 12th centuries. Pulakeshin too was the most outstanding of the Chalukya rulers. He defeated Harshavardhana. The Pallavas established their kingdom that extended from northern Orissa to Tanjore and Trichy in the far south. Narasimha Varman succeeded the throne in 630 CE. He defeated Pulakeshin II.
Developments in art and architecture.
India's rich cultural heritage is the crowning glory of the Indian civilization. The Mauryas contributed greatly to Indian art and architecture. Ashoka used stone extensively and constructed many palaces, rock-cut caves, monasteries, stupas and pillars. The Ajanta caves exhibit excellent architectural skills and are exquisitely carved. The Ellora caves are 34 rock-cut caves, of which a few are Buddhist caves and the rest are Jain and Hindu caves. Besides the rock-cut temples, many stone temples were also built in India. An outstanding example is the Shore Temple at Mahabalipuram. Our heritage includes many great literary works which serve as important sources of study of ancient India. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana are some examples. Panchatantra and Jataka tales are collection of short stories with moral lessons from everyday life. Jain and Buddhist monks also contributed to Tamil literature. There are 5 great Tamil epics. The earliest known historical astronomer is Aryabhata. He was also a mathematician and is called the father of algebra. Charaka Samhita and Sushruta Samhita are ancient texts on medicine.
Earth as part of the solar system.
The universe is the vast space around us, which includes stars, planets, satellites, etc. Stars occur in groups that make an imaginary shape in the night sky called constellations. The Sun is a star of medium size. The Sun and the 8 planets orbiting around it consist the solar system. The 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The Earth is the 3rd planet from the Sun and is so far the only planet with life on it. Life is possible on Earth because A. It is at the right distance from the Sun, so it is neither too hot nor too cold. B. It has oxygen, which is a lifeline for living organisms. And C. It has water. Meteors or shooting stars are produced when chunks of rocks enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up in a fiery show. Comets revolve around the Sun in elliptical orbits. They have a bright tail.
Motions of the Earth. The Earth shows 2 kinds of movements, rotation and revolution. Rotation of the Earth describes the spinning of the Earth on its axis from west to east, resulting in the occurrence of day and night on Earth. Revolution describes the movement of the Earth around the Sun in a fixed elliptical orbit over a period of 1 year. The axis of the Earth is inclined at an angle of 23.5 degree from the vertical line and 66.5 degree from its orbital plane. The Earth's revolution and the tilt of the Earth's axis cause seasons on Earth. Solstice occurs twice a year when the Sun is at its farthest distance from the equator. The summer solstice in the northern hemisphere occurs on June 21 when the Sun is directly over the Tropic of Cancer. The winter solstice occurs on December 22 when the Sun is directly over the Tropic of Capricorn. The summer solstice is the longest day of the year and the winter solstice is the shortest. Equinox occurs on March 21 and September 23 when the length of the day equals the length of the night.
Where in the world are we? Latitudes and longitudes.
Lines of latitude are the horizontal lines that go around the globe. The equator runs through the middle and is the most important line of latitude. It makes an angle of 0 degree with the plane crossing through the middle of the globe. The equator is the main line of reference. Lines of longitude are the vertical lines on the globe. These lines join the north and south poles. The prime meridian or 0 degree longitude is the main line of reference on the globe. While locating places on the globe or on maps, the latitude is always read first and then the longitude. Latitudes and longitudes are measured in degrees. Each degree is divided into 60 smaller parts called minutes. Lines of latitude are parallel to each other. They decrease in length towards the poles. Longitudes, on the other hand, are of the same length. The distance between the two longitudes reduces when they move towards the poles. At poles, they join one another. The important latitudes help us divide the Earth into different heat zones or climate zones, as different places on the Earth receive different amounts of sunlight as per their latitudinal location. There is a direct relationship between the longitude of a place and the time of the place. There is a difference of time between the two consecutive longitudes, that is, 4 minutes. All places on a given meridian or longitude have the same local time. The local time of a place is bound to differ as per their territorial expanse over different longitudes. To avoid confusion of time, countries have a standard central meridian. The time recorded on this central meridian is fixed as a standard time throughout the territory. A country having much wider expanse can have more than one standard time. The international date line is the 180-degree meridian. The day and date change on this line. This line is not a straight line. It is curved at several points to avoid confusion of days and dates in the same territory. Maps. Maps are a representation of the whole or part of the earth on a flat surface. A cartographer uses different signs and symbols for showing different features on the map. Maps are drawn to scale. Directions on a map can be shown by using the points of a compass. Distances on a map can be measured using the line scale, which gives the real distance between places on ground. Scales on a map can also be represented as a ratio or representative fraction, RF, or as a statement. Conventional symbols are simple drawings that show things, features on maps. All maps have keys to explain the symbols used on them. Two types of environments are shown on a map. They are either the physical environment or the human environment. On the basis of the scale of map drawing, maps can be categorized as small-scale maps or large-scale maps. On the basis of the function of a map or the features drawn on it, a map can be either a political map, physical map, or a thematic map. Sketch maps and plans are different from a geographical map. A sketch map is a map which shows outlines of an area without providing enough details or using a scale. A plan, however, is a representation of a small area with reduced measurement, scale, and much details.
The four great realms of our planet Earth.
The Earth is unique because of the three realms in it which sustain life: lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. The lithosphere includes all land masses, the continents and the ocean floors. There are 7 continents into which the land surface is broadly divided. They are Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, Australia, and Antarctica. 3/4 of the Earth is water or hydrosphere, which comprises of oceans, seas, rivers and ponds, and also includes groundwater, glaciers, ice caps and water vapor. The planet contains 5 oceans, namely the Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, Pacific and Southern Oceans. Oceans and seas comprise 97% of Earth's total water. The atmosphere is the envelope of gases that surrounds the Earth and is divided into many concentric layers. The troposphere is the nearest to the surface and contains half of the Earth's atmosphere. Weather occurs in this layer. The next layer is the stratosphere, where jet aircraft fly. The ozone layer here absorbs the harmful rays emitted from the sun. Meteors or rock fragments burn up in the mesosphere. The thermosphere is a hot layer where the space shuttles orbit. The exosphere is the upper limit of our atmosphere. The atmosphere merges into space above this layer. The biosphere is the zone of living organisms penetrating the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Human activities have disturbed the natural balance between the various elements of the biosphere, leading to global warming, ozone depletion, pollution, etc. Major landforms of the Earth. The major landforms of Earth are mountains, plateaus, and plains. Erosion and deposition by water, wind, and ice can create and destroy landforms. Motion along tectonic plate boundaries creates tall mountain belts, volcanic chains, and valleys. Mountains are natural elevations of the Earth's surface, rising more or less abruptly from the surrounding land. Plains are broad, nearly level stretches of land that have no great changes in elevation. Plateaus are elevated, comparatively level expanses of land. They are rich in minerals. Our country, India, location and physical features. India is located in the northern and eastern hemisphere. India shares common boundaries with 7 countries: Afghanistan, Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. India has 28 union territories, including the National Capital Territory of Delhi. For administrative purposes, the states are further divided into districts and tehsils. To fix the standard time of India, the 82.5 degree east longitude has been taken as the standard meridian. India is a part of a subcontinent and can be divided into 6 distinct physical divisions: the Northern Mountain Wall, the Northern Plains, the Great Indian Desert, the Indian Plateau, the coastal plains, and islands. The Northern Mountain Wall mostly consists of the Himalayas with an arc-shaped chain of 3 parallel ranges: the Himadri, Himachal, and Shivalik. Towards the south of the Himalayas are the northern plains, and to the west is the Great Indian Desert, which extends into Pakistan. The plateaus of peninsular India are flanked by the mountain ranges of the western and eastern Ghats and surrounded by the coastal plains. The Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal are also parts of India.
India, climate, natural vegetation and wildlife.
India's climate is influenced by the Himalayas in the north and the seas surrounding its peninsula in the south. India hosts 4 major climatic types, ranging from the desert in the west to the alpines with frozen peaks and glaciers in the northern mountains. India hosts 4 major climatic types, ranging from the desert in the west to the alpines with frozen peaks and glaciers in the northern mountains, from temperate subtropical type in the northern plains to the humid tropical regions supporting rainforests in the southwest and the island territories. The landmass has 4 seasons: winter, January and February; summer, March to May; monsoon, rainy season, June to September; and retreating monsoon, October to December. India receives 60% of its rainfall from the southwest monsoons. The northeast monsoons bring rain to the east coast of India and tropical cyclones in September-October over the Bay of Bengal, causing rain, storm and destruction along the eastern deltaic areas. In winter, the northwest part of India receives rainfall from the westerly cyclones. The distribution of rainfall is not the same due to the various climatic factors. Our crops depend quite a lot on the monsoon rains. A great variation in the relief features and in the amount of rainfall have created a variety of vegetation and forests in India. The deciduous and temperate forests are commercially important. Tropical evergreen forests are found in areas where rainfall is recorded as 300 centimeters and temperatures vary between 25 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. Evergreen forests have a close canopy, intermingled species, and very little undergrowth. Deciduous forests are found in areas where rainfall is from 100 to 200 centimeters. Deciduous trees shed their leaves in March and April and thus conserve moisture. The thorny desert vegetation grows in areas with rainfall less than 50 centimeters a year. The desert forests have trees with long tap roots, small leaves, and thorny branches. Tidal forests grow in river deltas near the seashore. Trees of tidal forests have stilt-like supporting roots that keep them still even during the high tides. Forests and wildlife are decreasing rapidly. Forests are being cleared to facilitate the increasing population as more and more lands are needed for farming, housing, industrial development, as well as for the expanding towns and cities. The conservation of forests and wildlife is the need of the hour. Wildlife sanctuaries and parks have been created all through India in order to protect wildlife. Urban administration. Urban local administrative units provide basic infrastructure and services in cities. They are classified into three major categories: Nagar Nigam governing large cities, Nagar Palika governing smaller cities, and Nagar Panchayat governing small towns. The area under a Nagar Nigam, which is also called municipal corporation, is further divided into wards, which may be grouped together into ward councils. Each ward elects its representative for the municipal corporation. This representative is called ward councillor. He looks after the problems related to the ward he represents. Municipal elections are held every 5 years. The mayor, deputy mayor, and municipal commissioner have the authority to take decisions. The functions of the municipal bodies relate to public health, welfare, public safety, public infrastructure works, and development activities. The municipal bodies levy different taxes such as property tax, water tax, and entertainment tax to collect funds for carrying out their functions.
Discrimination, inequality, stereotypes, and prejudice.
Discrimination means treating a group of people less favorably than others because of factors like skin color, gender, nationality, religion, culture, status, and disability. Forming rigid ideas about a certain group and being judgmental about them results in stereotypes. Prejudice means to prejudge someone. Stereotypes and prejudices lead to discrimination. We should respect one another and accept our differences. Tolerance helps us to learn about different cultures, new ideas, etc. The Constitution of India guarantees equality on the Government. Government is an institution which maintains law and order. In India, the law-making organ of the government is called the legislature. The organ that executes various functions is called the executive, and the organ that ensures that we obey these laws is called the judiciary. The government builds the infrastructure of the country, looks after the welfare of the people, protects the state, upholds law and order, and maintains good relations with other countries. There are 3 levels at which the government in India functions: the central government, the state government, and the local government. A monarchy is a form of government with a monarch, that is, a king or queen at the head. A dictatorship is a government that is ruled by a person without the collective approval of the people. Democracy is the most popular form of government today. In a democracy, people choose their representatives through elections. Freedom and equality are the most important elements of a democracy. The 2 movements, anti-apartheid and suffragette movement, upheld the principles of democracy, equality and freedom and established universal adult franchise.
Key elements of a democratic government.
Democracy is the government run by the people. There are 2 types of democracies: direct democracy and representative democracy. Switzerland has a direct democracy. India has a representative democracy. The main features of a representative democracy are free and fair elections, adult franchise, rule of constitutional law, and protection of citizens' rights. In India, the general election is held every 5 years and there is an alternative government available in case the electorate desires a change. People express their opinions about government policies through media or by organizing rallies and hartals, thus making government accountable to the public. Equality and justice are the 2 elements that make a democracy successful. Panchayati Raj. Panchayati Raj is the 3-tier structure working as the Gram Panchayat at the village level, the Block Samiti at the block level, and the Zilla Parishad at the district level. The Panchayat system at village level consists of Gram Panchayat, Gram Sabha and Nyaya Panchayat. Gram Panchayat is a body of elected representatives governing at village level. The Gram Sabha is the electorate of Gram Panchayat. The members of the Gram Panchayat are called Panchs and their head is called the Sarpanch. The Nyaya Panchayat is a system of dispute resolution at village level. The responsibilities of the Panchayati Raj include implementing development programs and government schemes and ensuring the welfare of the villagers and resolve disputes. The Panchayati Raj has 1/3 or 33% of its seats reserved for women.
Rural administration.
2 rural government officials administer a village, the Patwari and the police. The in charge of the police station of an area is the station house officer, SHO. He solves cases of burglary, quarrels, etc. in that area. The Patwari is the village accountant who maintains land records by visiting agricultural lands, preparing land maps, writing records of land ownership and crop grown in every harvest, etc. The Patwari reports to the Tehsildar, who is the revenue officer at the Tehsil level. The district collector is the head of the revenue department in a district. The Hindu Succession Amendment Act HSAA, which came into force in September 2005, gave the Hindu sons and daughters equal right to ancestral property. Urban administration. Urban local administrative units provide basic infrastructure and services in cities. They are classified into 3 major categories: Nagar Nigam governing large cities, Nagar Palika governing smaller cities, and Nagar Panchayat governing small towns. The area under a Nagar Nigam, which is also called municipal corporation, is further divided into wards, which may be grouped together into ward councils. Each ward elects its representative for the municipal corporation. This representative is called ward councillor. He looks after the problems related to the ward he represents. Municipal elections are held every 5 years. The mayor, deputy mayor, and municipal commissioner have the authority to take decisions. The functions of the municipal bodies relate to public health, welfare, public safety, public infrastructure works, and development activities. The municipal bodies levy different taxes such as property tax, water tax, and entertainment tax to collect funds for carrying out their functions. Rural livelihoods. Occupation is of 3 types: primary occupation, secondary occupation, and tertiary occupation. Farming, animal husbandry, and fishing are primary rural occupations. A farmer grows crops in the fields, manages orchards or vineyards, and are of 4 types: large farmers, medium farmers, marginal farmers, and landless farmers. Poultry and dairy farmers breed and raise livestock for eggs, meat, and milk. Secondary rural occupations include brickmaking, masonry, carpentry, and handicraft like pottery, basket making, and weaving. People in tertiary rural occupations include teachers, doctors, rickshaw pullers, drivers, shopkeepers, sweepers, water bearers, toddy tappers, washermen, hairdressers, etc. Urban livelihoods. About a quarter of India's population is urban, as there are many opportunities for jobs here. Urban people are either self-employed, earn fixed monthly salaries, or daily wages. People in towns and cities are involved in manufacturing and in selling and service sectors, that is, in secondary and tertiary occupations and in primary occupation like farming. With the growth in industries and in shrinking of agricultural income, people are migrating from rural areas to urban areas.